Can Karl Franz take Marienburg? Of course he can, he's Karl freaking Franz. Will there be more than Karl Franz left at the end of it? No. No, there won't. This is how it's gonna look. Boom. Yep, this is how it's gonna look. Let's go back and see how we got here. First, we missed a very inspiring speech from Karl Franz, and then prepared to blast their walls with 4 mortar units. And so we did. Our mortars opened fire, and they did so until eventually we decided to finally walk at the enemies, shoot them over the walls, climb the ladders, ram the gates, you know, all the usual. The walls turned into quite a bloodbath with units flying around and slapping each other away. No, it was mostly just them poking themselves. The enemy lord, though holding his own, quickly took like 10 arrows at once and decided to run away. Serves you right, ML1 Corden. You suck. Stealing money from me, silly man. Now, though the battle started pretty well due to our mortar barrages, it was slowly turning into a bit more than we can handle. Our melee units were getting beaten pretty badly due to the enemy's buffs, and there was also a handgunner unit sitting on a ramp shooting us all the while, which did not make it any easier. On the other side of the fort, Jürgen Grünfrau, our Bones Lich Priest, was leading his own army of melee units, though they were about to meet a very terrible fate. Archers. A lot of archers. Oh, and cavalry. And swordsmen. And running away. Perhaps in one last act of desperate defiance, Jürgen Grünfrau led his melee units in one final charge against the infinitely larger enemy melee unit, which led us to the sacrifice of this battle. Jürgen would fall, and there is nothing we can do to save him. Under an unrelenting hailstorm of enemy arrows, Jürgen Grünfrau's escape attempt was foiled. A single swordsman caught up to him and ended him once and for all. Jürgen Grünfrau was truly no more. Goodbye. Karl Franz, in fire and flame, sought revenge so much he destroyed a ramp with one swing and flattened Emil von Corden. He was not letting the sacrifice of his favorite priest be in vain. And that is where the amusing part of the battle ends. With all his units routed, Karl Franz was the only one left, thankfully equipped with a banner of discipline, which made him unbreakable, so we just psycho-charged the archers, took some flags, until eventually the enemies routed because they just could not handle Karl Franz. What a battle. Now, back to the map. Eventually, about 2 turns later, we took Fort Bergbrass, and with that we eliminated Marienburg from the map because the vampires took their other remaining settlement. Ah, how nice it is to finally have some... Oh, lovely. Yep, Grunberg just got raised by beastmen. So I decided to tactically waddle Karl Franz on back to the Reichland, which in hindsight was not the best idea in the world. Yeah, we did lose Marienburg. Don't ask. And Eilhard. Well, look what shambled out of the grave. I'm sure this is winnable. Maybe we can hold or something. Yep, there goes Marienburg. So after once again sending Karl Franz and his homies on an adventure across the Reichland, we finally made it back to Marienburg. And oh boy, that didn't go well. The first time, I learned how strong the Caribou greatswords are. The second battle is what we're going to witness. You're about to witness Karl Franz fighting for his life, with some deeply disturbing consequences for the playthrough. In the first attempt of this battle, I sent all my units together, the usual two-line formation, which did not work very well, but I discovered how strong Caribou greatswords are, so we had a plan to go out with a bang. So, in the second attempt, I positioned all the weak units in a box, their fate imminent death, and sent Karl Franz off with 2 Caribou greatswords and 2 halberdiers to take down the large units if need be. Now, we were never winning this battle, to be honest. This was more of a last charge kind of fight. The enemies had some units which were very unique to their custom faction. They had some monsters, animals. We couldn't really take care of those. Well, we could, and we did take care of some of them, but our baseline swordsmen, pikemen, and archers, they were not strong enough to contest this army. So unless Karl Franz and his Caribou greatswords carried the whole thing, we would lose. And the usual bloodbath began with undead bone men and men of the Empire charging into each other relentlessly. Spells were slung, bombs were shot, bones shambled across the land. But for all his wrath, the wrath of Karl Franz could not wrath enough. His men were simply too weak and unprepared for the horrible, bestial monstrosities that marched forth from the grave. Indeed, they fought valiantly, and almost 4 units, 2 of which were actual damage dealers, and Karl Franz took out about 9, 10? Something around that. I didn't really count. But if our main distraction unit was just a bit stronger, this could have been a quite interesting battle. But as our Caribou greatswords were slowly getting whittled down by the millionth zombie rising forth from the grave, they started falling one by one, being lobbed miles back by the force of the bone men's sides. And Karl himself could not stand against the horde of zombies. Dark days approached the Empire. Will it stand and see the bright tomorrow?